Hey everyone, it's Rob with Passport to the Parks, and today is Friday, November 23rd, and I wanted to share some more Disney Skyliner news that's happening. I'm currently at Disney's Art of Animation at Pop Century Resort, and we have some more cabling that's been run between Pop and Art and Disney's Caribbean Beach. Before we take a look though, if you would, check out passporttotheparks.com. You can see all kinds of great videos and pictures and articles and all kinds of cool stuff there. You can follow all my social media there, you can find it all. And I would also appreciate if you would, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe on YouTube. That is a big help to support the channel and everything that I do here, and to bring you all this cool stuff around Disney. So with that being said, let's take a look at what's going on behind me. So we have a really beautiful view of Hourglass Lake, and you can see the Skyliner station here for Art of Animation and Pop Century just in the distance. And we have the Skyliner towers that are going through Hourglass Lake. This is going to be that beautiful view as you leave the station. You're going to have this gorgeous view going over the lake, over these towers, between Pop Century, which is to my left here, and Disney's Art of Animation, which is just to my right. I'm currently in the Little Mermaid area. And this is going to run behind me. We'll take a look overhead. You can see that the main haul rope has been run, along with the cabling along the top, just for communications and for electrical surges. And you can see that the cabling does run all the way down to Disney's Caribbean Beach, and we'll try to get down there to see the Caribbean Beach side as well, but I wanted to concentrate on the Pop Century side real quick. We get a nice close-up of the haul rope here. Very impressive, very thick. It's about I believe 2 1/8 inch thick is the haul rope. Very beautiful shot. I'm right underneath one of the gondola towers here, and the cable just runs through the sheaves. The sheaves are the little pulley wheels that you see here. You can see that cabling runs all the way down, and this is where the gondolas will suspend from. This is the main haul rope, that's called. So I decided to take a little walk around the resort to see what else we could find, and I wanted to get a little higher so we can get a better look at the towers. And what we see here is where all of the construction magic is happening, and this is right underneath 2 of the Skyliner towers, between the Art of Animation and Pop Century. We can see all of the, let me get a closer view here, zoomed in view. These are actually the arms for the gondolas. So this is the arm that goes on top of the gondola that will support the gondola hanging from the haul rope. And there are a bunch of them down here. So this is where they're storing them. This is where they're going to be doing most of the testing, I would assume, since most of the storage is here. This is where we're going to see a main amount of the testing. You see all the gondola arms down there. But what's even cooler is right here, right under this blue tarp, is a Disney Skyliner Gondola. And let me move just a little bit further over here, and you can actually see part of the red gondola. Let me focus in a little bit here. You can actually see the gondola underneath there. So what this really definitely tells me is that that gondola is probably going to be one of our first actual test gondolas that's going to run the route between Pop Century and Art of Animation down to Caribbean Beach when they are ready to do so. So I do have the footage of the first gondola arm being supported, and that was from Caribbean Beach over to Hollywood Studios, and you can check that out on YouTube. That's a really cool video. It's the very first test ride that they ever did. But this is probably where they're going to do one of the test runs with that gondola, I would assume, and those rocker arms over there to do the test run between these 2 resorts. So very, very cool. While I'm up here, just let me get a nice viewed in shot. Let me focus a little bit. So that's a sort of a bird's eye view of the gondola tower. Let's see how far I can get in here. And again, you see the wheels. Those are called the sheaves. The main haul rope goes through the sheaves, and then you have some other wiring just for communication and to prevent electrical surges. So if lightning were to strike one of the towers, that can dissipate through that wiring through the other towers to prevent any sort of electrical damage going through. So again, very cool. There is a Disney gondola and the gondola arms. So while I'm up here, we can talk a little bit more about the gondola itself. Now, Disney made some recent announcements about a time frame as far as when the Skyliner is going to be operational, and they said that will be the fall of 2019. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so it's not as shaky. So the fall of 2019, so that's going to entail a lot of different things happening, obviously, in order for the whole Skyliner system to become operational. But they also made some announcements about the gondola, and they actually unveiled one at the D23 Expo that they had recently. It looks really, really cool. We know it's going to have sort of the mirrored outside, a reflective outside, and then it's going to have the Disney characters around it. The Disney Skyliner here is covered up. I believe this has a Chippendale motif around it. I did kind of catch a glimpse of this particular gondola before, and I believe it has Chippendale on the side. So very cool. There's going to be different Disney characters as we go around. We believe that this is going to be the CWA Omega 4 model. The Omega 5 model is supposed to come out in 2019. We believe these are the Omega 4s. Disney probably got a pretty good deal on these. They're actually designed to hold up to 10 passengers. If you take a look at any sort of footage or specs about the Omega 4, it's supposed to have 5 comfortably seated on each side, on each bench, on each side of the gondola. Now, whether or not that's going to hold true as far as in a normal situation, you're probably looking at 6 comfortably, then 8. But it is designed to hold up to 10 passengers. Now, whether or not Disney is going to allow standing, we'll see. We're definitely assuming that you're going to be able to just push your stroller on like you would for the monorail. The seats, the benches will fold up in order to accommodate the wheelchairs and scooters. So all the gondolas will have that built right in. So that shouldn't be a problem. I've talked about in previous videos how loading and unloading will go as far as for guests with disabilities. One of the big announcements that they also made was about the air conditioning. Now, I'm not 100% sold that they are not going to put air conditioning units in here, but what they did discuss is that it will have the reflective outside, and there's going to be a ventilation system, a natural air ventilation system. So basically you have 3 louvered vents, which should be on the front of the gondola, and then 2 louvered vents on the rear of the gondola in a little lower pattern. So what's going to happen is as you're going around, and we're assuming that it's going to move in a clockwise motion, the air would travel into the 3 vents in the front, and then travel and escape through the 2 vents on the opposite side. So what that is sort of a pressure trick. So high pressure air would travel in through the front louvers, and then low pressure air would travel out the back. So it's like a decompression. So decompression absorbs heat. Kind of think of like an aerosol can. When you spray an aerosol can and it starts to decompress, how the can starts to get cold, it should be the same process here, where it should have a cooling effect. Now, how much of a cooling effect we'll see, it's not going to be like air conditioning, but it could have a natural effect to make you feel cooler inside the cabin. You also have on the bottom, there are vent screens. So if you look at any of the pictures of the gondolas that's out there now, there's a bottom vent screen that kind of goes around the bottom portion. That's mainly going to be for your batteries are probably going to be down there, so it's going to be for cooling because those batteries will get really hot. The batteries are going to be needed to run maybe onboard fans, definitely lighting and audio systems. You got to think of, Disney's going to have audio running and music and announcements and things like that, and definitely lighting. But that being said, with those vents down there, that could also definitely be used for air conditioning venting. So there's no reason that Disney couldn't still have some sort of an air conditioning system on these gondolas. They may be saying that there's not going to be the air conditioning now. We'll see as it progresses along. They may make an announcement later on that they will have the air conditioning, which will be pretty awesome. We'll keep our fingers crossed for that. So that's about it for the gondolas as far as what we know so far. It was very cool that Disney unveiled the gondola. We definitely see one here, obviously, and I cannot wait for the testing to begin in order to see this actually going along the haul rope along the towers here. So I'm going to head on down, and we'll talk a little bit more about the time frame as far as, why is it going to take into the fall now? I was originally assuming maybe spring and summer, but it's going to be pushed back into the fall. And there's probably a lot of reasons for that. So I'm going to find another good spot to take a look at. Maybe we'll head closer to the station, and we'll talk about that. So we got some really cool vantage points here at Art of Animation that we can see for the Skyliner. There is the station that sits on Hourglass Lake, and you can see the bridge that runs behind it. So you'll come either from the Art of Animation side or the Pop Century side there, and you'll go right into this station, and that's where you will enter and exit the gondola vehicles and then travel across Hourglass Lake. So this is very cool up here. I really like it up here. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see exactly what it's like. It's going to be beautiful to be in the gondola and travel across the lake, and it's also going to be really neat to see these gondolas going back and forth, especially from all these vantage points up here. So I made my way mostly around Hourglass Lake here. We're approaching the Disney Skyliner station, and you can see from the side they've done a lot of work with that cool retro wavy design that they're doing on either side and in the back. It's really going to fit in well between the two resorts here. It's just got a really cool modern feel to it. Really love it. You can see the front of the station. This is where the gondolas will come in from, and they'll exit from there. Now I've talked about before in a how-to video, if you want to check that out on YouTube, but basically real quick, there's a grip that holds onto the top of the bar on the gondola. Has a grip that holds onto the haul rope, and as it enters the station, that grip will release, and then the tires that are inside there, the wheels, will take the gondola around. It'll slow it down to a really slow pace so guests can board and unboard. Then it'll basically circle around and head back out, and that grip will retighten to the haul rope, and you'll be on your way. There is two systems in there. In the front is for normal guest loading, and towards the rear you would have loading for guests with disabilities. Now we're behind the station. This is the bridge that goes over Hourglass Lake, and this is where guests will primarily come to get onto the Skyliner station. So again, you can see that cool retro look that they got with this wavy kind of swooping slope, whatever you would call it. But it does look pretty cool. It's going to be a really neat looking station once it's all done. We're going to head across to the other side over on the Pop Century side. Take a look at over there. So here we are over on the Pop Century side. We get a really good side angle of the station here itself. You can see where that haul rope is now coming out, right up into that first Gondola Tower. And they go right across Hourglass Lake, and again, that's going to go all the way down to Caribbean Beach. It's going to be a very beautiful run, probably one of the prettiest runs of all the system itself. But we can also get a good look again at sort of the inner workings here. You have all the wheels as the grip loosens on the gondola arm. The wheels will basically slow the gondola down, it'll bring it through. There is that giant red wheel underneath there. That is called a bull wheel, and that basically is what is turning the rope around. Then the gondola vehicles will come in, and you can load and unload at a very slow pace. And as soon as the guest is back onto the gondola, it will circle around and it will travel back out. That grip will again grab right onto that haul rope, and you'll reassume the correct speed, which is going to be a fairly quick pace. These gondolas are going to move very quickly. It's going to be surprising. So we can talk a little bit while we're here about why it's going to take so long now into the fall. And there really is a lot that's going into the whole construction of the gondolas, but more so of the system itself for different testing and some of the various things that they're going to need to do. So if you think about it, especially like the Caribbean Beach station, that is the largest station. That's where the majority of the gondolas are going to be stored. Maintenance is going to be done there. So you got to think, they're probably going to put a machine shop in there for like repairing and rebuilding parts. The control centers, everything is going to have to be, designed in there and put in there. That's probably going to take a long time. Then you're going to have to eventually go through inspections. You're going to have to look at like operational permits and license. And that's after everything is done. So one of the main things that we're going to have to look at them doing is what's called a load test. And what they basically do is they put, once the gondolas are all on, once they're all on the haul ropes, they're going to load all of the gondolas down to the max weight with water weights. So they put as much weight as possible on here. And what they're testing for is, you know, they're going to make the stops, they're going to test the braking systems, they're going to look for vibration or movement in the towers, they're going to set the correct hydraulic tension, and this thing is going to be hopping. They're going to run it at like a max speed, and these things are going to be bouncing. They're going to put as much stress on the system as possible in order to test it, and that's going to take, you know, a while to do, and if they have to make any corrections to that. So I think Disney is just giving themselves the amount of time that they're definitely going to need in order to make this happen. And then outside of that, you have to look at the operational aspect as well. You have your cast members that you have to get trained. This is a brand new system to Disney. You know, when they first brought the monorail in, it was like, whoa, what the heck is this thing? And they had to train, and they had to learn, and they had to figure all that out. There's going to be that same situation here with the gondolas. You're going to have to bring your cast members in. They're going to have to learn from the ground up how this works. You know, they're going to have to learn evacuation procedures. You know, your safety crews are going to have to learn evacuation. You know, if something were to happen on these gondola towers, there's going to have to be testing for that as well. So there's going to be a ton of work left to do outside of just getting the gondolas, you know, suspended and moving. You know, they've moved along so far and so quickly. I was thinking, wow, this is going to definitely be done by spring. But when you really think about it, there's going to be so much more into getting this fully operational. You have to make sure that this thing is sound, that it's safe. There's so many questions out there as far as safety. So Disney is going to take every step that they can in order to ensure that this is going to run smoothly and properly. And, you know, they'll have some testing beforehand. They'll probably have cast member testing and just all kinds of stuff. So that fall date is not too far out of the question. You know, maybe we'll look at a summer. If they really get going, you could have like an early opening in the summer. That would be really awesome. But that's pretty much what we're looking at. So now I'm on the Pop Century side, a little further down Hourglass Lake. Just want to try to give you all the views around the lake here. The station is right behind me, kind of through the trees here. Really beautiful today. You can see that gorgeous reflection on the water. Just imagine yourself in that gondola tower, in that gondola, just going across these different towers over this gorgeous lake on a day like this, that beautiful sky. Then you're going to go through that clearing down there towards the Caribbean beach. I really cannot wait. I truly can't. All right, so there you have it. That is what's going on with the Disney Skyliner. Big news over here at Pop Century and Art of Animation. I think I'm going to skip Caribbean Beach today. It's a little extended view over there. It's not going to look much different than what's going on over here as far as the haul rope going into the station over there. We know that there's a lot of work going on over there. We already saw you know, the run between the Caribbean Beach and Hollywood Studios. So really wanted to concentrate on Pop and Art over here and show you all the progress being made over here. I really had a very good time. What I really want to do is thank the people who have really been supporting all the information about the Disney Skyliner. In no way am I an expert. I love Disney and I love seeing all this construction and all these new things happening, but in no way am I a gondola, a Skyliner, anything sort of an expert. So there's been a lot of people who have been contributing through comments and emails and things like that, and I really do appreciate that. Two guys that I really want to point out, and let me read them here so I don't get this wrong. Robbie Von Roll, really extensive knowledge about gondola systems, really giving me some really awesome information. Check him out. He's got a really cool Facebook group. It's called Von Roll. It's VONROLL VR 101 Sky Rides. So check that out on Facebook. A lot of cool information about gondola systems and a lot of stuff that I'm learning. I learned from him and that page. So check that out. Another really awesome guy is Michael Anderson. He really gives me a lot of cool information. You can find him on YouTube. He is, it's called Odin, and that's spelled VODHIN, and that's on YouTube. You can check out his channel as well. So thank you both. Really great information. I do appreciate it. As I learn, I bring it to you guys, and I really enjoy doing that, so I hope you guys can appreciate that. Definitely check out passporttotheparks.com. You're going to find all this great information there, all the videos. I took a lot of cool pictures here today, really beautiful shots on the lake. It's gorgeous. The sun is just glistening on the lake. Really cool pictures all over. So check that out on Passport to the Parks a little bit later once I get a chance to put that up. And definitely please subscribe on YouTube. That really helps to support everything that I do. leave some likes, comments, all that great stuff. I love to answer questions and talk to you guys as much as possible. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I will talk to you very, very soon. As soon as we get more information, I will bring it to you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.